right, I'm here with Fresco, and in this video we're going to go over how you can use a conditioned emotional response to make a dog want to to have a positive association with something. In this case, the harness. So you see, I pull out the harness, he doesn't like that, he wants to move away. So a lot of dogs develop a negative association for the harness. I'm trying to figure out how this goes. So, you see, is this on top?
That's right here.
This is, okay, so it goes like this. So you this is how you put it on it?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Fresco. So what we're going to do, you just put his head through here, is what you're doing.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
All right, Fresco, come here, buddy. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how you can do something called a conditioned emotional response, or a CER for short. Yes. So since you're a little guy, I'm going to cut these in half. So basically what I'm going to do for a conditioned emotional response is you want the dog to, you want to expose the dog to the stimulus. In this case, the harness is the stimulus. And you want to do it in the easiest version possible. Well, for him, putting the harness on is not easy. He doesn't like it. You see he moves away from it. And so what ends up happening, a lot of us just kind of grab our dog and we hold it down while we trim its nails or force the harness on or whatever it is. So I've got a bunch of these treats here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just ask him, as a dog psychologist, what I try to do is put things in the easiest version possible. So the easiest version for this is just him looking at it. So I'm going to have both my hands behind my back. Fresco, sit. So all he does is look at it, and it goes away, and then he gets a treat. Now the next stage, after I do this a couple times, is I'm going to ask him to actually touch it with, lean towards it, or eventually to touch it with his nose. It's right here, buddy. I know the carpet makes it a little bit hard. You're targeting one hand, so I'm going to switch my hands. At this stage, I want him to come a little closer, so I'm holding the treat as opposed to dropping on the floor. So it's kind of causing him to come a little bit closer to me. There you go. This works a little bit better if you practice ahead of time, but I look at that as cheating, so I like to do it all live. Yes, such a handsome fella. All right, so he's showing a little bit more, let's say, reluctance to deal with it than I was expecting. So we're just going to practice a little bit more. Yes. How many treats is it going to take, do you think, Fresco? Fresco. I keep on wanting to say Frisco. All right, so the first stage is just getting to look at it, and again, having positive things going. So you see now he's not running away. He's still backing away a little bit, but not to the same extent. So now what I'm going to do is, this is how you put it on him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand through it and have him come and get the treat. And I put my hand through it again. So we're asking him to approach it on his own speed and with his own timing. And when he does it, good things happen. So I'm not even asking him to come, I'm just showing him the treat is available. And he's getting closer and closer to being in it. And that time he actually put his nose through it. I'm gonna have to cut up a couple more of these, and I think we're gonna be ready to get you in there, buddy. But you see, instead of moving away or having a negative association, he has a positive association. So the first stage of this is you're going to have a bunch of treats in your hand. Make sure the treats that the dog likes in one hand, and then you're going to have this, whatever the object is, in your other hand. And you're going to kind of do a swapping back and forth, kind of like this. So you're going to show him, he looks at it, you take it away, and then treat him. So it's kind of your arms are akimbo back and forth. So for a harness, then when we get to the point where we want to start doing this, is let me see, it's like this, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go. So now I'm going to go back to, now we have to back up a little bit because he was not as warm as he was before. So I pull it out, and then I'm pulling it, and I'm not putting my hand through quite as much each time. You see how he's lingering there? This time he's putting his hand through it. We'll do it to the side so you can see it a little bit better. So he's kind of putting his head through. you go. Now, eventually, you might want to come up with a command word. Come here, buddy. That means to put your head through here.
Like
Harness, uniform, dress up, something like that. And you're going to be tempted, like I was there, just go ahead and slide it on. So make him really stick his head through it the whole way. Come on, let's go this way. I want to do it sideways so everybody can see you do it. And patience is a virtue. Again, like I said, we just get to the point where we want to go ahead and force him to do it. And I probably could have forced it on him there, but then it's going to create a negative association. Now, one of the other little tips to do this is some dogs don't like the harness going on because it means we're going to take them out on a walk and they don't like walks. Or we're going to take them and we're going to do something that they don't like. So if that's the case, you can practice suiting him up without actually taking him out anywhere. So that creates more of a positive association for it. Is sometimes we practice putting on my harness and nothing happens. Yeah, almost got a freebie. Here you go, buddy. And then we put the harness on, and then I hang out for a little bit, and then nothing bad happens. So we reinforce that there's no reason for him not to like whatever the thing is. There you go, buddy. Yeah, I know you want to go around the side, but you can't. You got to go through it. Come on, it's right here. There you go. Yeah, I got part of it on you, didn't I? Let's come and get this one. Fresco. You gonna shake it around? There you go, buddy. Come here. Fresco. There's another one right there. There you go. And you can kind of make different elements of it, a piece of it as well. So that leg goes through, and then this leg goes through. I think we got it. Well, no, I put it on a little bit. I put it on upside down. Fresco.
He shook it.
I put it. You shook it upside down, didn't you? All right, let's rearrange this. You got to have the end version of it with Fresco wearing his harness. There we go. So as you do this, you can give him another treat. So each element of it becomes something desirable. Uniform, or whatever the word is you want to use. And there we go. Fresco sit. So he's a little bit, you can see he's a little bit off having this on. He feels a little bit odd. So again, I would practice having him wear this, sit. And if a dog won't sit or lay down, that can be an indication they don't feel comfortable. I think I'm identifying it because of this, that he doesn't want to sit. So if you have him practice the same technique I just went over here, and then let him wear the harness for 5-10 minutes, wait for him to sit or relax and lay down, and then you can go ahead and take it off him. Sit. Come on, buddy, you can do one sit for us. Sit. Well, this is my buddy Fresco, and these are some tips and tricks on how you can use a CER, a conditioned emotional response, to help a dog get over a fear of something like having the harness put on.